unleash the energy and individual genius of man to a greater extent than has ever been done before. We have every right to dream heroic dreams. Those who say that we're in a time when there are no heroes, they just don't know where to look. We unleash the energy and individual genius of man to a greater extent than has ever been done before. We have every right to dream heroic dreams. Those who say that we're in a time when there are no heroes, they just don't know where to look.
Boom, there we are.
Here we are back in Plymouth. No fights this week, but we're at Main Street regardless. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers, everybody.
Cheers. We've got
Cheers.
the boss man.
Cheers.
Mike Pope here as always, and Big Mike the Silva, super fan of the year. I don't know, 10 times in a row at this point. Who knows? But
He's got it on lock.
On lock.
Love, but I want
We might actually we might have to rename the award the Mikey da Silva Superfan Award, so other people can win the award in the future.
I like that.
There we go. So, anyways, we're here at Main Street Sports Bar and Grill tonight. Little change of scenery.
Yeah,
Right down the road from the hall. We got some fights to announce tonight. We got our main event calling in. Trevor Gudde and Joe Giannetti going to be on the phone live here in just a few moments. Both of them calling in. One of the main events that I've been most excited for in quite some time. Two absolutely top-level competitors around these regions squaring off to see who's taking the next step to the big show, if you will. Both guys really stepping up.
You think they'll get a call?
They're gonna call.
They're going to call.
Each other right now.
They're going to call tonight.
They're
Yeah,
gonna call
they're
at
both
the same
calling
time.
in. Yeah, we'll get
At
them
the
both.
same time.
Yeah, same time. Mikey,
Welcome back, man.
welcome back to Mikey. So for those who don't know,
You've been coming here so long as a guest. You haven't seen the updated technologies
I
we
didn't
have.
know. I don't remember people calling. I remember
So-
I heard a few times, but I wasn't here for.
so first things first, if at least somebody can throw in the comments how our sound is. We're obviously on location, so we got people behind us, but we just want to make sure you guys can hear everything. We will have the fighters call in, but Mikey, you haven't been around the last few fights because he's now a CO. Is that okay to public? Yeah, okay. So he hasn't been getting the nights because he's still new. So he's low man on the poll, so he hasn't been able to come to the fights. But you've been watching from a little bit of afar. How you been following along?
I got to watch most of it last time.
Yeah.
It hurt my heart to not be there. I couldn't get the time off, but it is what it is. I'm going to be at the next one. And
August 27th, Mikey's back.
I'm back.
Perfect.
Hoping to see everybody there again.
Never the same without you, brother.
It isn't the same.
It hurts to watch on the phone. You don't get it. It's a different pain. I've been doing this for 6 or 7 years now. It's a different pain just watching it on the phone instead of being there.
Yeah, it's definitely a live experience, no other. We had the lighting rig last show,
I didn't get to see that.
so we got the lighting, all that good stuff. So yeah, man, it's gonna be a crazy show on August 27th. And I was doing an interview earlier today, and what I love about this fight in particular is that usually when we have an out-of-state guy versus a hometown guy, a lot of our promotion has to be pumping up the out-of-state guy to get people to know who that person is and then understand why the threat is to the hometown guy. Because, but in this fight, you got two hometown guys going at it, two guys who almost exclusively fought their careers through cage fights. So we don't really have to tell the story of their background. All the fans already know both of these guys. They know their styles. They know what they bring to the table. So why that's fun for me is that, like, you guys already know these guys. You're already invested. You already have strong feelings one way or the other on who you think is going to win, why you think it's going to win. So, man, this is going to be a lot of fun with this fight. Both guys stepping up big time. Hats off to both guys. Taking fight, tough fight. It's a tough fight.
It's a super fight.
Yeah, so super fight for sure.
It's a super fight.
Definitely a cage fight and super fight. If there's ever been one, two guys that have held belts at the amateur ranks, one that holds a belt now at the professional ranks, a guy making a claim for his first title run at the pro ranks. Love it. I love it. This is one where I'm going to be heartbroken because I don't want to see either one of these guys lose. I'm friends with both of them, but this is also one where these guys are both at the top of the heap in this region, and they're both stepping up to fight each other here, big times.
This could be a huge decision maker for anybody right now. You know what I mean? This could jumpstart both of their huge careers, go into the Contender Series or go into the UFC or go anywhere right now. You know what I mean? With all the eyes watching, because this is probably one of the biggest fights in a couple of years of, like, people that are from the area, the people that are well known and everything like that.
Yeah, and Joe's actually called in, so I think he just got out of training. He's in the car, but before we bring him in, this fight, for those that this is new, for people, the way this fight came to fruition, Joe's had multiple opponents pull out in his last two events, the June card and the July card. And when his opponent pulled out the week before the July 2nd card, it was like we started throwing around names, and Trevor's name came up. And Joe was like, yeah, screw it. If you make it for the 70 belt, I'll fight Trevor at 170. Let's go. And Joe was all in. Trevor had some personal stuff going on with a summer camp that he runs back home in Missouri, and it was very important for him because this was the first year they're trying to kickstart since COVID. So he wanted to make sure, his personal life came first for the summer camp, so which we all respected. So it kind of just went away, and it was like the fight in my mind that wasn't going to happen. Fast forward to weigh-ins, and Joe's like, well, after I beat this guy, I'm still fighting Trevor in August. And I was like, oh, okay. You still want to fight Trevor? I thought it might have been just like short-term thing, like I'll fight him because it's a week's notice. And he's like, no, I'm in. I want to announce it after the fight. We obviously were running short on time, so we didn't do post-fight interviews. So he didn't get the chance. But the very next day, he was up my ass. He's like, that fight's on, right? I still want to fight Trevor. And Trevor was like, yeah, let's do it. So, hats off to both guys because it's a tough fight. And it's a fight that is going to be exciting for these fans and for the Cage Titans community. But without further ado, we got Joe Giannetti. I'm sure he's always got a lot to say. So let's bring him in. Joe, let's test your audio first. How you doing, my man?
Hello? Can you hear me now?
Yeah. I can hear you now. I feel like the Verizon guy. Good. Yeah.
This takes up the whole screen.
So hold on. You're driving, and why don't we wait till you get home? How far away are you from home?
No, I have a mount. We're safe.
You what? You have a mount?
Yeah, like my phone's mounted.
So
And not like taped to a mirror like some of the elastic.
we don't talk about what I do. Joe's driven with me before.
Terrible time.
Yeah. So Joe, what was your thought process? We kind of gave the background of this fight with Trevor. What was your thought process of getting this fight, and what made you want to take this fight?
He beat one of my coaches, and I don't know. I feel like people say don't fight emotionally, but like I don't know. I take this sport very seriously. I take fighting very seriously, and I've seen my friends lose before, and every time I'm like, I want to get in there and fight that guy, no matter what the weight class. And it's just another one of those cases. Like you beat one of my closest friends. Like that's Justin's like family to me at this point. And you beat him and you think you're hot shit. So it's like I want to get that one back.
So for those who are not really aware of this, what you're talking about, Justin Burrow, who last fought Trevor Gudde, he was your high school wrestling coach, correct?
Yep, he's in my corner every fight.
I'm still a wrestling coach.
So, obviously seeing him, did that fuel the fire? Or was Trevor somebody that was on your radar prior to him fighting your coach and Justin Burrow?
Trevor's been on the radar, but nothing like super serious. Just because, if 55 ever fell through, when these guys start getting soft, then I'll have to pick on someone. And Trevor's name was up there, and then like I said, he beat someone and he just became the easiest target. 55 division's just pretty dry, so I might as well just go champ. You know what I mean?
So with this, is the motivation the fact that it's hard getting fights at 55? Is the motivation kind of seeing guys like Billy Goff getting double belts? Does any of that stuff kind of come into play as well?
Not really. I think it's just a matter of, like I said, it's very personal. I want to get that one back for me, for Justin. And, everything, all roads lead to Rome. And I'm eventually getting back into UFC. And what's more of a sign that I'm ready than, having the whole 55-pound division duck me and then taking out the number one guy at 170. There's not more left to say after that. And this is part-time. Guys don't realize,
Yeah.
It's just, with COVID and money getting tight and working, I train 4 times a week, money to go to AKA and train full time. So this is part time, and after Trevor, we're going to go full time.
So when you talk about this, obviously I can feel it. I can hear it in your voice. The floor is yours. Why don't you kind of set the record straight a little bit about what you've been going through at 55? Because I see that you're taking a lot of beatings in the media and, about making weight, missing weight, all this stuff, and let's give everybody the cheat sheet, because I saw you in the comments. Name the time you missed weight. How many times have I really missed weight? Somebody give me that answer. Well, let them come watch Table Titans. Give everybody the answer and kind of give some insight on, how you feel about the media kind of attacking you a little bit.
So if somebody can tell me how many times I've missed weight and against who, I'll give him $5 without looking it up, because I hear him every time my name gets mentioned. He doesn't make weight. He doesn't make weight. When you got guys like Josh Harvey that haven't made weight in 5 years coming off of losses, and you want to talk about me missing weight, I own all my mistakes. And I think that irritates people where, when do you find out that I missed weight? On my social media. I'm the first person to tell you, hey guys, I fucked up. We'll move forward and we'll try and improve from here and not do it again. All these other guys kick it under the rug and want to talk and throw dirt on everybody else's name. Ali Zebian missed weight in PFL in his last fight. Josh Harvey misses weight by 10 pounds in his last 3 fights. He got choked out by a 45er. Give me more names. Everybody at 55 in the top 10, mine is Zach DSAP because he's a teammate, will not fight me. Ryan Sanders has won 1 fight in the last 4 years at 170. He was offered the fight for July 2nd. He said no. Now he's got an army on Facebook saying that I won't fight him. Josh Harvey saying I won't fight him. All these guys have been offered fights for the last 4 or 5 years and missing weight, but they try to pass it off on me. I made weight in my last fight at a catch weight because my opponent stepped up on last minute notice and I said, sure, whatever weight, I'll make it. And I did. Josh Harvey missed weight by 5 pounds when we fought, didn't say a word. I said, cool, let's fight. Fight went to a draw and he wants to complain about that and then talk shit about missing weight. So it's just like everybody misses weight. I'm just the only one that owns up to it. And I learn from my mistakes and I try to improve. But when you want to throw dirt, I got receipts. So just let me know.
Hey, pull those receipts out. Pull them out.
So just anybody new tuning in, as I see Mikey getting all excited about you, JoJo, let's just set the record straight. Mikey,
I'll speak for myself.
Went to high school with you, Joe. You guys have been lifelong friends. Mikey came to Cage Titans as a fan of JoJo, has now been kind of ingrained in the Cage Titans community. So I want to make sure that we are always clear with this. Mikey represents himself. When he gets on everybody's bandwagon, I want to be clear. Cage Titans is a neutral party. Mikey is an independent operator. I always like to point that out. But anyways, so Joe, back to the topic at hand. What is some of the things that you see Trevor, some trouble that you see Trevor possessing in the fight and in the matchup, if any?
The guy's as tall as an NBA player. How many times are you going to find that at 170? I don't know anybody in the world at the top of the sport that's tall fighting at 170. So he possesses something that maybe nobody else does in that weight class. Is it enough to turn the tides and make it a bad fight for me? I personally don't think so. But But, I like a challenge. I like being the underdog. And I think maybe the fourth fight in a row, I think I'm being overlooked. I was overlooked when I was fighting Darius Estelle. I was overlooked when I was fighting Bond. I was overlooked when I was supposed to fight Nate Williams before he backed out. I think I'm being overlooked fighting Trevor Gudde, but it's just one of those things where it's like I was training with the 1% of the 1% at AKA in California every single day, and it's just a newfound confidence where it's like, as long as the person standing across from me in the cage, last name isn't Nurmagomedov, I'm fine, and I'm beating your ass.
As long as I can remember, you've always been the taller of your opponents. You haven't really faced somebody as tall. Are you looking forward to being the shorter man in the fight for the first time, having to play a little peekaboo style, or accepting the challenges of giving a taste of your own medicine? You've given people the trouble of fighting a longer guy. How are you going to solve that puzzle on your own?
I think it's just going to be one of those things where my technique really gets to shine. I mean, I know a lot of people have said, like, oh, your striking's improved, but I feel like they think it's just the aggression, like I'm throwing more punches, my volume's out there, a little bit more confident. But I think that they haven't seen all the techniques that I've learned and all the ones that I've polished off. I think that my technique, my footwork is just going to be way too much on the feet and on the ground. I think after this fight, people are going to say, oh, his aggression's still there, but his technique is clean. And I think that's just the difference, and the fight was already personal enough for me, beating somebody like Justin, who I look up to, and then I'm celebrating my win, and I wake up the next morning, and Trevor's already running his mouth about fighting somebody with a joke of a ground game. I mean, hey, Trevor got offered the fight for July 2nd, said no. There's a reason we're fighting in August, and I never got choked out by an 0-4 guy, so.
So actually, that was gonna be my next question. Trevor's not known for much of the social media game, but he did come right out the very next day after your fight. Actually, it was the same night of your fight. Was that surprising for you? And you kind of just went into it a little bit, but was it surprising for you? And what was your initial reaction?
I got him. Like hook, line, and sinker. Like, we got him, boys. I just think it's one of those things where it's like, I'm the fight to make, Who does everybody talk about when they're talking about going to the UFC? Like, it's me, Shanus, Billy Goff and the Controller are already on the Contender Series, Zach DSAB. So he's just trying to pick a target. And if you can pick somebody from a lower weight class, why not? But I don't really think that he realizes that I've only got about 3 more years left at 55 before I start taking over at 170. So this is like a little vacation for me. My body gets to be strong as ever. I'm doing mobility every single day. This is going to be peak performance physically and technically. So like I said, I think I'm being overlooked, and Trevor just kind of fell into the trap.
Gotcha. So Trevor's about to call on. So if we would love to have you stick around for a couple minutes and talk.
I got nothing.
Mikey's got the big wings coming, so he's all excited. Andy, any last questions before we bring Trevor in?
Not just that I'm excited for this fight. I think you guys pose a lot of stylistic challenges for each other as fighters, and yeah, I'm just stoked to call it and excited for it, very much so. So I'm waiting for Trevor.
I see those receipts.
I see Mikey getting excited.
I need those receipts, all of them.
Mikey's all jacked up, but Mikey, he's been a fan. Well, you guys go back to elementary school,
Middle school.
Middle school. So obviously he's a big fan. But Mikey, before we bring Trevor in, you're a fan of Trevor too.
I like him.
So is it?
Can't root for him
obviously, you can't root for him because you're a middle school friend. What, 10, 15 years?
My boy's fighting.
But
I couldn't cheer for him last time too because he was fighting another one of my boys.
But Trevor's been around for a while. He's Cage Titans through and through. Almost his entire amateur career with us. Very much like JoJo. He won his title. The other cool factor about this fight, before I bring Trevor in, is that JoJo was the first amateur lightweight champion to go on and win the pro lightweight belt. Trevor was undefeated in the welterweight champion. Now he's trying to be the first guy to go on and win the same belt as a pro. So a lot of things. Trevor's trying to accomplish what Joe's accomplished. Joe's trying to go up and wait and prevent him from that. There's a lot of cool storylines. Without further ado, the man with the mullet, Trevor Gudde. What's going on, my man?
What's up? I just got done with training like moments ago, but feeling good.
So I don't know if we have JoJo. He's in the up corner. You can barely see him. He's driving. But were you able to catch anything that he had to say about the matchup?
No, not at all. I literally just stepped off the mat.
All right, that's good, man. That's important. We got to keep you guys 100% ready for this fight. But one question I had earlier that he did bring up, obviously the fight didn't happen in July. How did the summer camp go was my first question. Did it end up coming off or what?
We got a good start. We have a lot more to do than I thought initially going in. The initial discussion when we got there from the rest of the staff was like, do we even want to try to tackle this because the list is so fucking big. We got a lot to do, but we got to do all the official shit. We have to put together like a board of trustees and get like our mission statement to fucking get grants and stuff like that. So we got to start, but it's not. I'm not like, we did it, it's done, we're fucking, camp's happening. There's a lot left to do.
All right, so with that being said, the question that I was going to go to, I wanted to make sure I want to check in on that, but the very night that JoJo fought, you were immediately in the comments. Hey, let's see how he does against a guy. You're not known to be that talker. What kind of motivated you to get in that comment and kind of throw that out there?
Oh, it looked so easy. I don't know. It went to the ground, and that was one of those where it's like, man, is this professional? Like I can't imagine not putting up that much of a fight.
That's what I do, bro. That's what I do.
No, for sure. I kind of felt the same way about my last submission, where it was like, man, that was fucking easy. But it's one of those where I'd like to see more of a fight there. But I'm tired of not getting the belt. Like at this point, I will talk if that's what it takes. I wanted to fight Billy, and I'm happy for him, but I didn't talk enough. I felt like, so now fuck it. Like I want to fight.
You got one. Don't worry.
Real quick.
Everybody.
Oh, sorry. I couldn't hear you, JoJo. Give me 1 second. I do want to back up Trevor. Trevor was adamantly asking for the Billy Goff fight multiple times. The minute he won that belt, he was like, I'm making my splash now, and he was asking. So I wanted to back him up. That was a fight that he definitely wanted. But JoJo, what were you just saying? I'm sorry, I couldn't.
I said there's going to be plenty of ground game for everybody. Like I said, it's one of those things where you're coming at my opponent who took the fight on a week's notice when 90% of New England won't. I make it look easy against anybody. That's just what we do over here. But we'll see August 27th. There's a whole lot of neck to grab.
Oh yeah. Yeah, a guillotine would be pretty funny.
So Trevor, when the fight didn't end up happening for July 2nd, did you think this fight opportunity was kind of passed you by, or were you kind of hopeful, or what was your thought? Like, obviously, I know you reached out to me and told me how difficult it was to say no, but I obviously understand that we're human beings outside the cage. So I felt that was important that you made the right decision. But did you think this opportunity just kind of passed you, or were you holding on hope?
I really fucking hoped it happened. No, I was really upset to have to turn down the first one. I made 100 phone calls and was comparing prices of like moving the flights around and seeing if I could it pissed me off. It was a bummer. When I talked to Eric and talked to you, and then there was like the slightest possibility that it might happen in the future. It's a big fight and it's a fun fight. Like the idea of this one was appealing to me from the get-go. Right when you offered it, was like, oh, absolutely, yes, that's obviously like that's a blast. So I was hopeful, but this is the fight game. I've had 10, 11 fights for Cage Titans, and I've probably had 12, 13 opponents drop out. Like I don't really get my hopes up that much anymore. Like I'm just gonna let whatever happens. I'll fight anybody. But this is a much more fun fight than just some other fucking random.
I'm sorry. I had to argue that I'm kind of happy that it didn't happen on a week's notice, because now we get these Cage Titans fans that have grown up with both of you as fighters, that know you and love you and follow your career. Now they get to see this fight kind of develop properly with enough build-up and background. Joe, you were a little quiet. I know you must be dying to say something, and I don't want to keep you too long, but I know you're driving. But any last things before I chop you off that you would like to say to Trevor while you guys are on before we chop off and talk to him directly?
Nothing much to say. Bring it on fight night. Protect your neck. I got no more talking to really do. I'm just ready to get in there and get that one back for the team. And if your neck gets snatched, it's not on you. It's just what I do.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, JoJo, I appreciate your time. Thank you for taking the time after training. And I'm sure. What was that?
One last thing. Totally not related to me and Trevor. Fuck New England MMA, the most biased media out there. Have a good night.
You know what? Kinda with it.
All right, Trevor. So we got you alone for a little bit. Hopefully you can hear us. I know we're on location, so it's a little loud behind us. Hopefully you can hear us. But
That Red Bull's kicking in.
how's training been going? What's some of the things that maybe you looking to expose from JoJo? Because obviously you guys have shared fight cards before. You've seen each other fight numerous times. Do you see anything that you're looking to expose?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, he's used to being the tall guy, and I love fighting people that are used to being the tall guy. That's the biggest advantage I've had in my career. I love the idea of somebody trying to guillotine me. That's kind of been a long time game for me in jiu-jitsu, and my training's been going better than it ever has. I'm not doing anything else except for training. I wake up in the morning and I go for a run. I have a noon mobility and strength conditioning class with Hippie Chris. Run home, shower, eat, come back here and train for 3.5 hours with Zavi and Eric. Like my wife is basically allowing this to happen. She's kind of paying for me to have this final big career shot. So all I'm doing all day, every day for the last several years now has been like preparing for opportunities like this. There's nobody that trains harder than me. You can't function and train harder than I do. So I'm not scared of anybody. Yeah, like if he has a job and life responsibilities, then I'm training more and harder than he is. So it's a distinct advantage that I have over the division right now, and I have to take advantage of that. I only have a couple years left to fight and train like this, so I'm going to do it. Like that's my confidence going in there. That was my confidence in the last one. I didn't feel good mentally and physically going into the last one. I don't know if I didn't rehydrate well or if I had a stomach bug or something like that, but I didn't feel very good going in there. And my mantra was, all right, well, rely on the training. You've trained more, you've trained harder. And then I went in there and that's exactly what happened. It was easy because I'd worked harder than he had. So that is kind of the thing that's keeping me calm and excited about this fight is like, yeah, dude, let's do it. This is a game of time on the mat and who put in more effort. And I can't imagine anybody having put more time on the mat or more effort than me at this point. So let's do it.
So, Trevor, a lot of the talk, it sounds like when you're saying, your wife's supportive, which is amazing to have that type of support system to allow you to go out and do this. Is this kind of like, I don't want to say your last hurrah, but this is like your push? I'm assuming, is that what you would kind of relate this to?
Yeah, I'm 31 years old. Like if I don't hit it big in the next year or two, then I don't have a real shot of making it big enough. The big that I kind of want to make, the big that I want to make in this sport, where I'm not trying to be a journeyman fighter. I'm not trying to fight into my 40s, and have brain damage forever. I'm trying to make it big enough that I can make money, put away savings, and then have enough of a name to do private lessons, travel around the world and train and make like this a real fun career choice as opposed to some grueling, awful, fight a million shows a month just to like make rent and stuff like that. Because I don't want Haley to have to support me forever. I'd like to be able to contribute into that. And if I make it big in this sport, that is something that I can start doing and turn that around and start, paying back the effort she's put in. So yeah, this is big for me. Like these fights like this, fights like the Gracie fight and Bellator and shit, those are my big shots. And I love that that's part of the sport, that every now and then you just get this out of the blue fucking huge opportunity and you have to be ready for it. And I always feel like I'm ready for it. That's why I was so freaked out when I had turned down the last one, because it was like, this is why I'm always training. This is why I'm always on diet. This is why I don't go anywhere. I just fucking train all the time. It's for shots like that. And then I had to turn it down and it broke me. And now I get it again and everything's fine. But yeah, no, I this is the last, I'm putting everything into this. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Do you consider Joe to be your biggest feather in your cap? Should you emerge victorious? And honestly, welcoming him to the 170-pound division against a real 170-pounder, how do you see that welcoming him to the weight class playing into your advantage?
I think that because he's coming up, if I beat him, it's not actually that big of a deal. And I say this with all the respect in the world, but his frame is a 55er. You know, like there's huge advantages I have in different positions. So it's cool to beat him because he's a Cage Titans guy and everything like that. But it's not. I don't think it's the biggest. I think it's just a good opportunity for me. It doesn't have the bite that the Gracie fight had and stuff like that. This just feels cool. I'm excited, but it doesn't feel monumental. It just feels like the step that's going to get me to monumental. You know.
I still look at this as like a vintage Cage Titans super fight, though. For the two absolute staples here, so
it's fun. That's awesome. I'm stoked for the fans to get to see it. Yeah, I think it's cool to have two guys that came up like this in Cage Titans. Like Mike was talking about it. My whole amateur career was Cage Titans. Got the amateur belt. I love the pro belt. Like this is Cage Titans is fun. Yeah, I wanna put that super fight on.
Trevor, what's great about this is you come in with 4-2 in record, and a lot of people are like, hey, listen, you could take easier fights and build and build. What I love about your mentality is this is my time now. Like you took a Gracie fight super early in your career. Many people would probably say, steer clear of that. Had your record. You're giving an inspiration to some of these young fighters, because I'll be honest with you, a lot of young fighters will come and be like, can I get a couple of these bum fights, build my record up, and then I'll take a tough one? You're showing guys you can take tough fights right out the gate and know you belong.
I don't think there should be people out there that are 30-0. That's bullshit. That means you aren't fighting people that are hard enough. I think it's a bummer that in MMA, if you lose 2 fights in a row, you get cut from the UFC. That people forget about you the moment you have a bad fight. That sucks, because you should be fighting people that are better than you. You should take risks like that. I understand that it's an entertainment sport and you have to stay in and you have to make money that way, so losing is awful. But it'd be cool if there was a future of the sport where you were encouraged to take difficult fights, where you don't get immediately cut from an organization and drop back to the bottom of the barrel because you lose a title shot to somebody that may or may not have been better than you. So I'm all for the risk taking. This is a game of pain and fear, and if if you can withstand both of those, then you'll be really good at it.
All right, the burning question after all that. Can we see the hair?
Oh yeah, I got
for the hair.
Hang on. It's long enough now that it'll whip me straight in the freaking face.
Oh Jesus. What's the inspiration behind the hair? This is something that the last few years, 4 years now?
Oh God, I don't know how long I've been doing it. Longer than that. I started it in the amateur career.
But you didn't have the longness in the amateur career. You had the mohawk.
Yeah, my very first amateur fight, I had that much just buzzed. You guys remember Miguel Torres, the WEC fighter?
Of course. How do you forget? Bantamweight legend.
Okay, so Miguel Torres was my favorite fighter coming up. The fights that I watched with my dad, we watched WEC fights, and then we would watch the UFC fights that were very rarely for free on Spike TV and stuff like that. The WEC was where I got my start. And Miguel Torres, a skinny kid that could fight, and this is when I was 160 pounds. I could put my hand around my wrist like that. I was skinny when I started, so I always kind of wanted it. I always liked the meanness of the mullet, And then when I got a job where I realized that I could get whatever haircut I wanted, we just started cutting the sides off, and yeah, I don't know. At this point, my wife cuts it. She cuts the top and shaves the sides, and then she braids it before the fight. So it's easy enough to pay people to do it.
There you go. Hey, that's cool because we've seen some fighters, and I don't know if Miguel Torres was inspiration for you. Maybe you're inspiring some of these younger fighters, because I've seen a lot of guys rocking the Trevor Gudde mullet at Cage Titans lately.
Yeah, I don't want to claim full credit for it because the mullets have been coming back with the fucking hipsters too. But getting the main event and having the mullet makes me feel a little more responsible for it. Yeah.
You need a main event mullet every now and then.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's to make a great poster. That's all I'm saying.
Let me ask you a question. Do you remember any of the up-and-comers who have had the Trevor Goody mullet, and who has been your favorite so far?
Saldina's got a hell of a mullet. His is
Yeah.
kind of long. Yeah. No, I saw him at some like Mexican joint after one of his fights, and had a moment where I recognized him, but I just recognized the hair when he came in, and I had the thought of like, you know what? If I can recognize a fighter by his hair, that's a start. That's a little people remember you.
Yeah, man, it's important to build your brand, build your, publicity and things like that, and it's cool. So, anyways, Trevor, I'm out of questions. Mikey, Mikey said he's a fan of yours, but just full disclosure, he went to middle school with JoJo. He's been growing up with JoJo, so I am not responsible for anything Mikey says, but he wanted to ask you a question.
Yeah, what's up, bud?
I don't have much to say, man. I can't really hate on him because he's kind of a cool dude. It is what it is. You're fighting my peoples. Just know that everything I say, don't take it personal. After the fight, it's a wash. I'll come up to you after. We'll hug it out or whatever. It's never personal.
Going in, it's like I'm gonna talk. When we get there, I get mean at weigh-ins when I'm hungry.
Yeah, I want that. I want to talk too because I want to talk too, man. It's just.
So same thing.
The coolest dude that Joe's fought.
Yeah, we'll all be friends after. We'll drink beer and shit. But there might be some talking. Yeah.
You're a Scotch drinker, I thought.
Yeah. I mean, I always get a beer and Scotch.
There you go. Well, Trevor, it's awesome having you. DJ Adam Russell is here in the building. So we will see you on fight day. I'm sure we'll talk again before then. Any last shout-outs you want to give before you run?
Just another thank you to my awesome fucking wife, Haley, to my team, Eric and Bobby. Bobby put us through the ringer today. Everybody that's making this camp possible. I can't train 5-6 hours a day without so many patients to push me through that. So without him, I remember this would be possible. So we need a team. It's a team sport.
There you go. Hey, and I don't know if you heard, I'm sure you might have heard around the gym, running up the rear in the co-main event. We're announcing it officially tonight. Lionel Young is taking on Bruno Diaz in the co-main event.
So Lionel was I was doing this interview and he wasn't doing one.
So
Furious with you guys.
well, I reached out to Lionel on Monday and I was trying to line up Bruno. So just so you can tell him the backstory, I was going to have you guys all four calling in, but I know JoJo loves to talk. And I was like, I'm not going to have time to get JoJo, Trevor, Bruno, and Lionel in before 9 o'clock because they have a DJ here at Main Street.
No. That wouldn't work.
So Monday, tell Lionel if he's still there. Monday, him and Bruno have the entire stage, and they got the show on Monday.
Not to be mad.
Awesome.
All right, Trev. Thank you, guys. Have a good one, man. All right, so here we are. We got the man, Adam Russell, former opponent. Yeah. Maybe like the third longest tenured Cage Titans guy. You've been around Cage Titans since what year? Got to talk loud.
I think it was 2010,
2011. 2010 we started. I think 2011 was our first show at Memorial Hall. Yeah.
It was the electrical union hall was my first show.
Yeah. Oh shit. So then you were 2011. We picked the loudest spot in your bar, but we were talking super loud, which is great. So Adam's here tonight. We're here at Main Street Sports. A quick thing we wanted to talk about. I do have it. I'm going to throw it up. We are hosts, or I say we. Everything's we because I just ingrained with we. But these guys are hosting a comedy night. I'm going to throw it over my face. Actually, let me see if I can put it up without my face, and you guys can still hear us. Let's see. Boom.
Different showcases for the past year or so now, being back in the scene now that everything's opened up. So I've got a lineup with some really funny characters who are real seasoned, a couple of new guys, and a couple of real veterans that are going to be putting on a hell of a show. You had one at Coops not long ago. You enjoyed it, trying to bring a little bit of the arts that I love to any kind of town. You know, martial arts, comedic arts. Those are my two favorites. So come on down, support, and it's gonna be a good time.
That's gonna be fun.
And Adam's been here at Main Street Sports longer than you've been with Cage Titans, or no?
Yeah, about the same amount of time, almost 12 years.
So Adam is also the chef here. Tons of great food, as you can see. Mikey approves.
Always.
What's your favorite wing sauce?
Sorry,
That one.
I don't like any of this stuff right here. The lemon pepper is hitting.
Lemon peppers.
The lemon pepper is hitting. I think this is just plain, right?
Yeah.
The plain and the lemon pepper is hitting. That's too spicy for me, and these got to go. I mean, for me, it's not for me, but you got to come down. You got to get the burgers, and you definitely got to get the wings. And if you don't get any of that stuff, just come down and show my man some support.
It's a brunch.
Yes.
Brunch. Yeah, the brunch. Everything on the brunch is good.
Thank you.
So, okay, you're not. Somebody said they can't hear you, but anyways, anywho, we love Main Street Sports. It's always banging here. It's always a great time. It is actually the day after the fight tradition to come here for brunch. So any of our fans or fighters, we all meet here. Oh, we want to keep it low key? Yeah, that's all right. We got the whole place in here. But Adam has had some experience here at Main Street doing comedy. You had Big Baby Davis for our younger guest. He was part of the Celtics championship team. 2008, he was part of the championship Celtics. Oh, you're drinking my water now, Mikey? What is it like for you guys? How was the success of the comedy night before?
It was awesome. Yeah, no, the place was sold out for Big Baby. We had a great damn time. We're about entertainment here. One way or the other, we want everyone to come here and have a good time. And so comedy just seems to be the next step for us. And once we did that, I knew that Andy was doing his thing. So we reached out and, made this thing happen. So we're excited to have it. And hopefully it's first of many to come.
Yeah. Hell, anytime. There's plenty of comedians that want to do spots. So anytime you want, we can make this happen.
I'd love to do it once a month.
And Adam,
for sure.
So here you have entertainment 7 days a week.
7 days a week on both floors. Yeah, both floors.
So we're in the upstairs now.
Yep, we're in the upstairs. So downstairs is typically where we do the live acoustic or the live bands. Then we have DJs upstairs every single night of the week. So this kind of turns into a nightclub upstairs come 9:30. Weekends,
That's why we're getting close on time.
Friday and Saturday nights, we have DJs on both floors. It's basically a nightclub on both floors on Friday and Saturday nights. Saturday and Sunday days, we have acoustic music also during the days. So, yeah, it's nonstop. It's always a party.
And you'll never know who you're going to run into here. You might see me working the door one night with him. Manny Bermudez, former UFC fighter, Cage Titans alumni. See him working the bar. Don Shanis. A lot of Cage Titans regulars stop in here.
And fighters.
And fighters.
When they're not in camp.
Yeah, exactly. So it's always a great time down here at Main Street. But I got to say to you guys this, and this is my one push for you. Guys like these two right here, Andy supports all of our fighters and all our Cage Titans, and so does Adam from behind the scenes, doing all the music and making sure everything's right. This is a big event for these two. Let's come out just as much as they support you in your fight careers and everything they do. Let's help these guys out. So please come out next Thursday night. Have a good time. It's only $10 for the ticket at the door. Come in. It all goes to the comedians. Just like Cage Titans with the fighters, where the tickets help the fighters. The ticket money helps these comedians get paid. So come on out. Have some fun. Your fighters in camp, have a water or, some chicken. Maybe Adam can throw a special plain chicken dish on the menu.
We got healthy food, too. It's not just bar food. We have all sorts of stuff.
Come out and support these guys in something they're doing outside of Cage Titans and support these guys. What else we got?
Not much.
No? Adam, the burning question.
Yeah.
Putting you on the spot.
Yeah.
You said you were one and done. But is that the truth? And when can the fans see you again?
Next August.
Next August.
No shit.
Yeah, I want to do it again.
He wants to do it
MMA,
again.
though.
MMA. All right, cool. So you heard it. He said it on
Am I going to be able
camera.
to call it this time?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
All
no,
right.
I
He's
won't.
not calling you out.
No. Our days are done fighting each other.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was probably the hardest moment of my Cage Titans career.
That was awesome.
That was awesome. It was a great
fucking
time.
day.
It was a fun time.
We got to come here afterwards and have a beer and eat an Oreo. It was good.
And Oreo?
Oh yeah,
Way
no,
more than one
I
Oreo.
crushed that. That plate was gone.
So there you have it, guys. We appreciate you tuning in tonight. They have the DJ coming on shortly, so we're not going to take up too much time. Next Thursday night, stop on in and see us. And thank you for the support. Thank you, my man. Have a good one. Are you leaving?
Yes.
I need an ice cream sandwich. You have any?
Oh yeah, I do. I got two different kinds. I got a Moose Tracks double chocolate chunk rolled in crushed Reese's Pieces. Reese's Pieces. Then I got sea salt caramel.
Hold on. Do you have this on your page?
No, it's on the special menu.
No, I want to show him. I want to show the pictures of these things. Hold on. You don't have any. Did you post any pictures?
It's on my Main Street page.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna.
What?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna share my page. If you got
We make them in house.
Clearly-
we have a scratch kitchen here, so.
clearly my fight days at 145 are long gone, but I want to share this with you because this is exactly what I'm going for next. You guys can see my page. Close. Oh, what's going on here? Can you guys see that?
Oh, we never plugged it in.
Boom. Hopefully they can see this.
Can they see it?
Yeah, they can see it.
Jesus.
So this is what am I looking at, Adam?
You're looking at scratch made double chocolate chunk cookies made here in house with Richardson's Moose Tracks ice cream sandwiched together, and then crushed Reese's cups.
Yeah.
Rolled in crushed Reese's cups.
Sign us up.
Yeah, we got you.
Sign us up for that. We're gonna take that off. So yes, he makes amazing things. Main Street Sports, come on down.
Thank you guys very much.
And we're going to get ready for the DJ. So thank you guys. August 27th, Gudde versus Giannetti main event. And you heard it here first. Lionel Boogs Young taking on Bruno Jacare Diaz in the co-main event. Two huge fights on the New England scene. And what's beautiful about these is these are guys that everybody knows. Everybody from New England knows all those fighters involved. We don't have to sell that fight. You know these guys. You've seen them. You've watched them inside the Cage Titans cage, and they're all squaring off. So I got nothing more for you.
It's a main and co-main event of absolute staples and legends along these scenes. So it's going to be one hell of a stacked show. Some of these amateur fights that have already been made. Get your tickets as soon as they're on sale. We'll let you know. But thanks again for everybody tuning in. Big Mike.
Yeah.
All I have is, listen, if you are not sitting cage side or if you're not sitting floor seats, you don't know what you're missing. You gotta spend that little extra money. Even if you do it one time, please listen, support your fighters. Sit cage side. It's an experience that you'll never forget. I'm telling you right now.
And you might get to sit next to Big Mike.
You might get to sit next to me, and my drink's gonna spill all over you.
I will tell you this. My wife has since moved her seat from the cage just away from Mikey because he gets amped up. This guy gets excited. And that's what we love about Cage Titans. You know, fighters, fans, everybody's a part of the show. We appreciate everybody.
You're there with sunglasses and a belt.
Yes.
That's it.
He's got double belts. Yeah, so thank you guys. That is it. I'm going to leave you
cheers,
out.
everybody.
Cheers.
Thank you.
And we'll see you next Monday where we have Bruno and Boogs calling in. Thank you guys.
We unleash the energy and individual genius of man to a greater extent than has ever been done before. We have every right to dream heroic dreams. Those who say that we're in a time when there are no heroes, they just don't know where to look.